because the Atlanta Falcons, the reactions from everybody from the MBS team was priceless, man. When I announced that, hey, the Falcons are drafting Michael Penix Jr., there was like, no, 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 they're not. Like, and they end up drafting the Falcons end up drafting. So, with that being said, are the Falcons really the biggest losers in the NFL draft?
Can I go first, August, if you don't mind?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I want to start by saying what I'm about to say. I've been wrong so many times when it came to this draft, when it comes to this topic right here, when I think about this topic. All right, so let me go back. Matt Flynn got a big offer from the Seahawks, and then they turned around and drafted Russell Wilson. That turned into a Super Bowl for the Seahawks. The Eagles had Carson Wentz. They drafted Jalen Hurts. They went to the Super Bowl. Alex Smith went to the playoffs. I think it was the second round of the playoffs. They drafted Patrick Mahomes the very next year. That turned into what we see right now, almost a dynasty. You can make the case it's a dynasty. Flacco to Lamar Jackson, 2 MVPs. I'm just showing y'all what happened.
Well, what are you trying to say, man?
So what I'm saying is, look, I'm not. Hey, I said when the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes, I have an action on my Facebook page. I said they were my biggest loser. I said the Eagles were my biggest loser when they drafted Jalen Hurts. And boy, have I looked stupid since then. So what I want to say is I wouldn't have took Michael Penix at that position. But history has showed us 2 MVPs, multiple Super Bowls, people get to the Super Bowl. And then look, Aaron Rodgers, they drafted Jordan Love. And Jordan Love looks promising right now. Now, I'm not sitting there saying Michael Penix will be that. But for me to keep saying, I'm seeing this over and over and over again, and I keep calling these teams losers, and they keep winning, I look like a fool. I know you can make an argument there's other cases where it goes against that, what I'm saying, but I'm going to wait and see on this one. That's why I did not have the Falcons as the biggest loser.
Go ahead, August.
You know, to be honest with you, man, I don't know really what to add to that. That was pretty impressive. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know. I'd like to hear what box office has to say, and then let me get a little bit of ricochet action off of that. Let me get both. See if you contrast what he said at all.
Okay, so I don't like it short term. I like it long term though. So what I don't like about it short term is they clearly didn't tell Kirk Cousins at all that this was coming. And because I know that because he was apparently pitching at the Braves game and said, I can't wait to retire in Atlanta. Well, guess what? He ain't retiring in Atlanta. He's retiring somewhere else. Now, what I do like about his contract, though, most of the money is being paid first 2 years. So I really think this is a 2-year thing. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be their quarterback there for next 2 years, and then Penix is going to get their chance. The difference between this and the Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers thing was that Jordan Love was 21. Penix is 24.
True.
So it's like by the time he starts, it'll be 26, 27. So, and also C sent out the clip of their GM explaining something to Arthur Blank. Clearly, Arthur Blank didn't see this coming either because I think because he's the owner, he would have vetoed that, I believe. Yeah. I also think they could have traded back a little bit and still gotten Michael Penix. I heard that the Raiders were interested, so maybe you drop down to 11-12 and get more picks out of it. I just don't like it because the communication seemed off within the organization. Now, if y'all remember when we were talking about top 5 quarterbacks in this draft, I said Michael Penix is the second best quarterback. So I like it long term. Because, and I like the fit actually, because he's going to play in a dome. He's a lefty. He could air it out in a dome. I like the fit. He's from Florida. He plays in Georgia now. So I like, I think it's a good situation. They've got some talent over there. Bijan Robinson is expected to be there for a long time. So short term, I don't like it just because the communication seemed off between the whole organization. And I think now, because whenever Kirk Cousins plays bad, they're going to be asking for Michael Penix. But long term, I like the fit actually. So overall, I'll say I like it. If I like it long term, then that means overall this will pan out.
Yeah, so with that being said, let me jump on that then. I do think, just pointing a lot of that out from the beginning of the show, just with that situation, I think that they have a rhyme to reason. I just don't think it was put out there. I don't think they made anybody really aware of it. And I think they just did it how they wanted to do it. At the same time, you don't know what could happen in the future. You don't know what happens sometimes. I know they've gotten better with the preseason games, but just what team becomes of need, whether it's Cousins, whether it's Penix, hypothetically, would you not trade maybe a Penix or a Cousins for a future first round or, a couple second rounds, depending on the situation. And I think that paying $100 million, because Cousins got something like that guaranteed. I don't know the extent of it exactly, but he got a lot of money he's getting no matter what. I think they're safe when it comes to the quarterback room, and I think they don't really care who plays as long as they're playing well. That's kind of how that regime's probably looking at that ordeal. So, it just was kind of not like a shock, like, oh my gosh or anything. It just was something like, would I do that type of pick? Would I really do that right now? You know what I mean? And like Box Office said, I think you could have probably got Penix, at a different slot. But at the same time, they wanted him. They want him for a reason. And I think they think he could do a lot for not just, their team, but just their city, their culture, and just everything they're about with a safeguard in Cousins, who is a proven starter at the end of the day. Let's not get it twisted. Even though he's not going to be any better than he was, he still could go out and help you win a football game, and be able to bring a lot of veteran, leadership and experience to that spot that just Penix can't offer right now, no matter how old he is, never taking a snap. So I think it's going to be an interesting thing to stay on. And I think that, it was very intriguing. So I like what both of you guys said. And, the future is going to tell us, one way or the other.
All right. All y'all had great points. I personally don't think they had the worst draft because everybody's just looking at their first pick, right? Mm-hmm. I think the rest of their picks were all right. I think they may hit on a couple of these picks. I like the second round pick, the defensive lineman from Clemson. Rook Archer, I can't say his name. I like him. I like that third round pick, that edge rush out of Washington, Braylon Trice. I think they may have hit on those other ones, and I actually think they may have hit on Penix. It just does not help them right now. And I believe that they, previous to the draft, people were saying they were after signing Cousins, they put themselves at the top of the NFC South. All right, kind of similar to the position that the Saints were in last year when we picked Derek Carr. They said, okay, well, the Saints are clear. They clearly have the best quarterback in the division and the best weapon, so they'll be the best team in the league. So I thought going into this draft, they were going to add to that. Instead, they started looking toward the future. Now, I think Penix might end up being a real good quarterback, and I think he'll do good sitting down 2 years behind Cousins, because Cousins is very serviceable as a quarterback right now. But I'm old enough. August, I know you said you're 43, I'm 45. So you grew up at the same time I did. And you remember they would draft quarterbacks, and those boys would sit for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So Penix will be starting probably in 2 to 3 years, and he'll be 26 then?
Absolutely.
That's when most of those quarterbacks used to start. And
yeah, he's got weapons. I mean, you brought up Bijan. He's from Arizona. Got to know a lot about him. He's down in Tucson, but isn't the London kid still in Atlanta?
Yeah. Drake London.
The Pitts kid from Florida. I mean, at the end of the day, I just what really is the kind of part that just throws me off. Like, I would love to know the insight. $100 million, $100 million. What could I have bought with that money and maybe just went with a Penix who is of age? He's older, he's experienced, he's played in the biggest college platform you could play in when it comes to, the games he's been in, and obviously was in the Natty. So, with all that being said, I just, are they just saying, hey, we're going to have to pay somebody at the end of the day? Why not pay Cousins and kind of bridge that gap like you're talking about with that year or 2 or 3, because obviously if Cousins is winning games, he's going to be out there. But let's say Cousins, and not saying be the first play of the game, but let's say week 7, you know, something happens with him and he misses 4 or 5 games. And maybe Michael could come in, do some things, you know, take flight, and maybe they still go back to Cousins, but then at least they know, like, hey, man, we're rolling. And then they could make a decision going forward from there. Or if they need another year, they need another year. So I agree with you. I do think that, you know, their picks were solid. I just think that one threw a lot of the mainstream for a loop. You know what I mean? And
I just think it was a bad look coming off the Desmond Ridder thing for them to do that,
right?
And pick him after you had paid. Because I think Cousins has a $180 million contract.
Yeah, 100 is guaranteed.
100 guaranteed, right? Yeah.
Right. And so him even being on the roster for what, 3 years, he's gonna get $180 million out of him. And they could have used that so much better. If they were going to end up picking a quarterback first. I agree with you. And but the only reason why they would look stupid is if Cousins ends up getting hurt. Like you said, he gets hurt. Penix comes in there and he shines, and hey, you got your new starter right there, your future right there, and you just wasted $100 million. So everybody be talking about that if that happens. Not wishing injury on him, but he is coming off he's 35 years old, coming off an Achilles. So that's a very high chance that he might get hurt. And I think Atlanta thought about that too, even though they threw the money at him. I think they thought about that too. They was like, well, we need to draft somebody just in case this does happen to make sure we're still set. We can pay him all that money, and we got a quarterback that's on a rookie contract. So if he ends up starting, it's almost like we paid $180 million for 2 quarterbacks.
That's right. That's exactly.
Well, at least we do know that the Atlanta Falcons won't be drafting a quarterback anytime soon. For sure.
They all know that Atlanta don't know what they're doing, man.
What I realized was the last 3 years, the Atlanta Falcons been the number 8 pick overall in the NFL draft in the last 3 years.
Wow.
So that's Bijan and now Penix.
Yeah, I believe it was Picks, Bijan, and Penix. Yeah.
I don't know what everybody's thinking on here. The Atlanta Falcons are complete losers. Capital L's. Throw them L's like you guys normally throw it when it comes to LSU. They are complete losers in the draft. We look at the recent picks from the outside of Bijan Robinson, which I do like. Which I predicted last year also.
Oh gosh.
You really went out on a limb.
So we look at their picks, you would talk about guys like AJ Terrell, Kyle Pitts, and you talk about guys like that, man. And I mean, I wonder how those guys are doing right now, man. They don't seem like they have an impact to me. It looks like they made a bad decision during that time also. And I feel like
it was a bad decision.
Kyle Pitts been a bust, man. He's a bust, man. He's number 8.
Cousins plays in games. You're gonna have Pitts looking right. That's one thing Cousins will do.
No, but if Kyle Pitts was that type of tight end like that type of tight end, he should have made an impact right away. That's what we expect Brock Bowers to do.
Not a lot of opportunity. And when you go into that game and you're not too worried about who's under center, you could take a Pitts away. You could do some things schematically, but I know what you mean. It's looked that way. That Pitts hasn't produced the way he, was thought to coming in. But he's still a specimen, and any team I'm sure would love to have him. You know what I mean? So yeah, the jury's still out, I feel like, on Pitts for me at least.
No, he's a done deal for me. He's gone.
If the Cowboys traded for him right now, you say, "Oh my God!"
Actually, I wouldn't, because I think we got a better tight end than Kyle Pitts right now.
Bro, you just hyping up Zeke.
I like what C said as far as what he said. As far at the end of the day, you have to get the quarterback position right. You got to get it right. And for $108 million for 2 quarterbacks that you really like, they like Michael Penix. I want to say this: when I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes, but when Patrick Mahomes was drafted, a lot of people said they were losers, including myself. When Jalen Hurts was drafted, a lot of us said we lose. Matter of fact, when Russell Wilson was drafted, I was like, hell no. They gave all that money to Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn's the starter. And lo and behold, Russell Wilson is the future. At the end of the day, dog, I think it's a good thing. I like the fact that y'all brought up bridging that gap. We've seen it work in the NFL. Why is Green Bay so good at what they do? Because they let the guys sit, learn behind somebody, and they give the reins to him. They don't just throw him right out to the fire. So I think that they may be looking at what Green Bay is doing instead of himself. Let's take a book out of their page.
X, that's exactly what they're doing, because I looked at I watched the GM, I forgot his name, and Raheem Morris talk, and they literally said we are following the Green Bay model. They literally said that. So if this works, more and more teams will follow that model.
And I actually like this. I think it sucks for the rookie quarterbacks to be thrown to the fire.
He don't really make smart decisions.
No, I'm just saying, I think it sucks for the rookie quarterbacks that get thrown to the fire and they really don't have a true chance. Like, you got guys like Josh Rosen. I'm not taking up for Josh Rosen, but Josh Rosen wasn't given a fair chance in the NFL, in a sense. I know it's grown man stuff. At the end of the day, you get opportunity, you better make the most of it. But it's just like, come on, man. Like, let these kids kind of build up. Could you imagine going to a job in your first year and they just give up on you? They give you all this stuff and they just give up on you after 1 year? It's kind of like, come on, man. Give them something, a mentor to look after them.
No, kind of like what we do in Atlanta. Spencer Rattler.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's my guy.
Hold on. No Atlanta Falcons fan is happy about this pick at all. Everybody was shocked. Everybody was surprised by this pick. They could have went a different route. You could have added a game-changing defensive player. That's what we all expected Atlanta to do. A game-changing defensive player. A game-changer. Terrion Arnold, Jared Verse.
Let me ask you this. What happens if they strike out on that and Michael Penix turns out to be a superstar quarterback? I'd rather have the quarterback over any position.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But you just wasted a pick. You already have a quarterback. You spent all that money on the quarterback.
It's not promised for long, though. It's not promised for long.
But Kirk Cousins is a proven quarterback in the NFL.
But how excited would Atlanta be if Cousins wasn't there?
This guy to Matt Flynn right now. We're talking about Matt Flynn, who was never a proven quarterback in the NFL.
I use that as an example.
Matt Flynn was never a proven quarterback in the NFL. Kirk Cousins has been a proven quarterback in the NFL.
What about Alex Smith?
Alex Smith was. Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl.
No, those
they paid Matt Flynn off of what he was doing in the NFL. Though.
And Aaron Rodgers was a Super Bowl winning quarterback. They drafted Jordan Love. Brett Favre was a Super Bowl winning quarterback. They drafted Aaron Rodgers. We've seen this.
It's too many examples, Keo. You lose this one.
So you saying you rather see Michael Penix over Kirk Cousins right now? Kirk Cousins or Michael Penix Jr.? That's what I'm asking you.
I'm gonna answer your question. See, you can't say it to me because I'm not as high on Michael Penix as those guys. But let's use somebody that I was extremely high on. Let's just say Peyton Manning would have been healthy, fully healthy, and I had the number one pick, I'm still taking Andrew Luck. I don't care who else is on the board. Give me Andrew Luck because I really believe he was that guy.
Yeah. He was that guy.
If you believe in that guy,
so why were you surprised? So why were you all surprised when the Falcons drafted Michael Penix Jr.?
I didn't expect them to do it.
I seen the comments you guys made it afterwards. So don't try to defend it now.
I didn't expect them to do it, but they did it. And
I wouldn't have thought much if they didn't have Cousins. If they didn't have Cousins for the money they gave him, if they'd have gave Cousins a 2-year deal, second year, team option, and they gave him $90 million even. I would have been like, all right, whatever, it's bridging the gap. But the $100 million, that's a lot of money.
You guys got Falcons as winners. That's what you're trying to say right now.
I just want to say this one thing before we switch. I know we got to go to the next topic. There's a guy right now from Chicago. Michael Jordan went 3 because the Portland Trailblazers said, I have a guy that plays that position already, so we're going to pass on Michael Jordan. You don't do that. If you believe that guy's that guy,
you get him.
Take that guy.
You get him.
Okay. All right. So you say that's what you're saying right now. That's what you're trying to say right now. You guys are all defending Michael Penix Jr. right now. Are the Atlanta Falcons winners from the NFL draft? Are yes or no?
I think they could be.
They're not
yes or no. Not could be. Yes or no.
No.
Are they winners?
Losers. That was the whole thing.
No. Are they winners though? Are they winners in the NFL draft?
Hey, bro, we'll see.
Yeah, we gotta wait to see.
August, are they winners?
I can't put them as winners because if Penix ain't playing, the pick does no good for him.
Right,
just does no good for him.
So we moving the field goal post right
now. But Keo, do we really know? What if they just end up playing this guy? What if Cousins just ain't cutting it and they don't care about the money and they just end up benching him week 6, week 8? I mean, we gotta see.
You paid them $190 million. Like, really?
But they don't have to, Keo. They don't have to pay it all. It's the $100 million they're on the hook for.
Oh, but I'll change it up. Let's say Penix doesn't play this year or even next year, but they win a Super Bowl in the next 7 years. That pick was the right pick. I don't care nothing about what happened. That pick was the right pick. I'm not saying they will win. I'm just saying they do.
Keo, what if they paid the $100 million? What if they paid the $100 million so that they could hopefully pay Penix $300 million one day?
That'll never happen, man.
I'm just saying.
He's Josh Rosen at the end of the day, man. He's Josh Rosen at the end of the day, man.
If he is, we'll end up finding out. But no, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I just think it was a different way to go about, their needs. But we'll see how it pans out, man. But I got them at the bottom just because I do think that they could have operated differently than they chose to, especially when you only because of the $100 million. If it wasn't the $100 million, I would even bring them up. I would say, hey, they did a good job. $100 million.
Well, they did a horrible job. Let's go to
our
next.
I like it.